it's not just to launch our product. Basically, we want to show our appreciation also to our processor in front of here. So thank you for processing our coffee, and thank you for the buyers also to have buy our coffee. So basically today we will have three main agendas. The first one is obviously the CATUR Collection launch presentation. That the main speakers for that one gonna be 5. So here is Kenny Ang, Mikael Jasin, Abraham Gerhard Girsang, Kang Intan Taufik, and also Naomi Marcella right there. And then the second agenda we have is the panel discussion or talk show that will be moderated by Abraham. There will be 2 topics on that. So the first one is using local microbes for coffee fermentation. The speakers on that topic will be Tehrani from Java Halu, and then Kadek Edi from Karana Global, and also Pak Leo from Bay Estate. And then the second topic will be on moving to Indonesia for coffee production. The speakers on that topic will be Lisa from Bay Estate, and then Troy from Bright Java, and also Rodney from Karana Global. And then the last agenda we have is maybe the most awaited one, where you can taste our coffee. So basically we have 10 different coffees from our CATUR collection this year that will be served on batch brews, and also 1 coffee that will be served on espresso or Americano, your choice. So please feel free to taste our coffee after the presentation or after the panel discussion. So without any further ado, let's give it up for Kenny Yang, who will open our CATUR Collection presentation.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you, everyone, for taking the time traveling from all parts of Indonesia to attend our launching event of CATUR Collection 22-23. Some people may not know me yet. I'm Kenny. I'm in charge of CATUR operation and, of course, the finance side, the money. Okay, today I do not have any slides to present, but I have three groups of people to thank. First of all, I want to thank all the coffee processor. It has been a tough and challenging this year. So we would like to thank all of you for taking the hard work, spending the time to process all the coffee, and of course keeping the coffee quality consistent. Second, we want to thank all the people here, sitting here, for the support and encouragement. Without you guys, we would not be as where we are today. So thank you so much. Third, I want to thank all the wonderful teammates behind CATUR Coffee Company for their hard work and determination and commitment. Without them, we wouldn't have made it so far today. So thank you so much. I'm very proud of you, and I hope everyone you can enjoy the event today and enjoy the coffee tasting. Thank you. I'll pass the mic to Mickey. He has a lot of slides to present.
Thank you, Kenny. That's the longest I've heard you speak in the public setting. Hello, everybody. My role here today is basically just to recap, really, our year. The beefier of the presentation and the more important aspects will be handed over by our hardworking team who's actually done a lot of work this year behind the scenes to make sure that we have coffees to present, and also what we've done in terms of accountability and transparency and sustainability efforts. So to recap, in 2021, our biggest volume came from Karana Global. From Bali, we had 27 metric tons out of the 54-ish metric tons that we produced in 2021. The fastest selling tasting profile, as you can probably guess, is Kamala. So if you're not familiar with Kamala yet, Kamala is our anaerobic natural processed coffee, fruitier, boozier, big, loud flavors, commonly used in barista competitions, and because of that, it's one of the most popular taste profiles. It's sold within the first 3 months of our launch. So we launched in December. By March, 97.5% of that was sold globally. Well, Not yet. The fastest selling processor was Tuang Coffee. 95% of Tuang Coffee was sold within the first couple of months of it being launched. So we debuted the coffee in WBC Milan, and after that it just sort of took off in not just our coffee from Tuang Coffee, but also Tuang Coffee from Tuang Coffee. You can find them all over the world in Europe and in North America and Australia, all over. So in 2021, we had 6 partner processors. In Sumatra, we had 2. We have Central Sumatra Coffee and Gayobes. We have 1 in Java, Brat Java, 1 in Bali, Karana, 1 in Flores Manggarai, Tuang, and 1 in Sulotko, Kofrise. In 2022, we had 67% growth in terms of partner processors numbers. We went from 6 to 10. We had CSC, Gayobes, Lisalio Organic, aka Back Bay State, Java Halu Coffee in West Java, Sunny Coffee also in West Java in Loa. Again, we have Brat Java, Karana, and Tuang Coffee, and we added 1 partner in Sulawesi from Sulotko. We also tried to see if our methods, our inoculants, and our way of processing coffee could work anywhere else in the world. So we went to 3 different parts of the world. The further west is in Panama. We went to Chiriqui. In Jansen Estate, we processed a few different geishas with 4 different inoculants, and they scored well. We also work with Datera in Patrocínio in Brazil, working with a very interesting hybrid of coffee called Aramosa, which is a very climate-resistant coffee. And we tried our inoculant and also our processing in Datera. We also went to Itogon in the Philippines to see if our processing works in other Southeast Asian country. So we had 3. The volume is very little, it's experimental volume, but we had some great results. Cool. So in 2021, we have 50.5 metric tons of coffee produced. And Lonnie, can you go back to the one before this? There you go. Sorry, we had partner distributors all over the world. In North America, we have Forward Coffee, a great friend of ours. Cold Road, who's the previous barista champion of Canada, has an importing company. So he handles our North America distribution. In Europe, we have CATUR Europe, head by Dejan Borisavljevic. And also in Australia, we have FTA Coffee based in Melbourne to cater for Asia Pacific and Oceania as well. In 2021, we had 50.5 metric tons of coffee, and we grew that by 60% to 84.7 metric tons of coffee. Even after all the challenges of not having enough cherries, cherry prices going crazy, we still managed to grow our numbers by 60%. Now, this is the biggest conversation starter among coffee processors in Indonesia and coffee stakeholders in Indonesia in 2021. We had a massive increase of cherry price year on year. This is our average buying price nationwide. So it's not really in one specific area, but we took a national average. In 2020, our average cherry price was 8,000 a kilo. In 2021, 10,250 a kilo. And in 2022, 13,000 a kilo. But the numbers vary from anywhere 6,000 all the way to 17,000 in some areas, a kilo of cherry. So massive increase, but we somehow made it work. Kenny did his magic. So other than the coffee cherry prices, other challenges that we face this year are mainly related to climate. So very sporadic rainfall. We had early rainy seasons, and because of that, we have very limited drying space. And also, in some areas, we have difficulties trying to access clean water for processing and also washing of our coffee. How is this impacting our production? Well, from the flowering and the maturation of the cherry, it was pretty difficult, and that leads to uneven green bean quality. And also some cherry, because we have to move the drying area, some cherry got fermented on the way to the drying station. So we typically do the fermentation at the processing center and would normally dry it at the same venue. But this year we have to shift things around a little bit, and we had to deal with some uncontrolled fermentation or unwanted fermentation. So how did we mitigate this? We obviously plan to do better in terms of drying space, trying to find access and invest in equipments that can help us gain access to better water quality and also drying facility. Now, as a company, we traveled a lot. We traveled to produce our coffee in 14 different regions of Indonesia, and we also traveled to try and market and sell our coffee. As a company, we traveled for 134,237 kilometers just to produce the coffee. That's mainly the domestic travel, but also our travel to Panama and Brazil. So that's about 4 times the circumference of Earth. So we traveled 4 times of Earth just to produce our coffee. But then we traveled even further. We traveled 8 times the circumference of Earth to market and sell our coffee. This is mainly in Europe. We also traveled in North America extensively to try and market our coffee. So all this travel, we realized that it's doing something to the environment. Obviously, we have a really big carbon footprint. Just on travel alone, we had 160 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in terms of the travel for marketing and also for production. And we started thinking, with this kind of carbon footprint, are we actually helping the coffee industry, or are we doing something bad to the industry? So we begin by measuring this and also trying to somehow remove this from Earth, or if we can somehow sequester it inside our soil. So after calculation, we found that we emit 563 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. And since September this year, we have successfully removed 328 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. And we average at about 82 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent a month. So from September onwards, we can call ourselves, we became a carbon neutral company, but we still have a little bit to catch up, and we should be able to catch up to that carbon emission by Q1 of next year and become truly carbon neutral by definition. So just to put things into context, 328 tons of carbon dioxide equivalents is about 738,597 miles driven on a normal gasoline car. It's the equivalent of charging 36 million and a bit more of smartphones. And then also that can be sequestered by planting 4,920 trees for 10 years. So it's a bit big, but we're doing our efforts, and Naomi later will break down into details how we plan to achieve these numbers. So, to quote the great and powerful Taylor Swift, "Hey, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me." I traveled the Earth, or traveled around 204,347 kilometers this year. And that's just my CATUR travel. That's not calculating So Good Coffee Company. That's not calculating the travel that I did for the other brands that I represent. I spent 95 days away from home, trying to process coffee and also trying to market our coffee. But we have also Abe. Abe travels 158 days away from his mom this year. So, sorry, mom. But Abe, she's probably happy. But Abe only traveled mainly in Indonesia. So in terms of kilometers, he didn't travel as far, but he did travel the longest. And then also in terms of kilometer per days traveled, Lonika, she represented Indonesia in the World Cup Tasters Championship. Lonika went to Milan for 9 days, and she averaged at 4,811 kilometers per day of her travel. So pretty big. And then also we have Kenny. Kenny is sort of right in the middle there, just under 150,000 kilometers traveled for about 55 days of travel for CATUR Coffee Company. Not enough, yes. All right, so moving forward, what's our plan? Today we talk about CATUR Collection, but we also have a lesser known collection called the CATUR Blend. CATUR Blend is our commercial line. So we plan to increase our footprint in terms of commercial coffee, but processed and done the same way and with the same commitment to our CATUR Collection. We also have Berlian Biotech. So Berlian Biotech is very interesting. This is our own company, our own lab based in Kota Baru, Parahyangan in West Java. And this is where we produce all of our inoculants, do our research on microbes and coffee-specific bacteria and yeast that we use for our coffee, but also hopefully it's going to be available for public very soon as well. We're also going to grow our CATUR Reserva worldwide, doing more projects and research in countries like Panama, Colombia, Brazil, and the Philippines as well. So to dig deeper into our transparency and sustainability efforts, I'm going to pass the microphone to Naomi, who will talk about our sustainable practices. Thank you.
I have this. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I would like to thank you all for coming. We're so glad that you're here. We really appreciate your time. So my name is Naomi, and I'm in charge for sustainability and transparency for CATUR Coffee Company. So this year is our first year in the beginning of our sustainability journey. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I would like to share with you all about our commitment to sustainability and what we have been done so far. Well, speaking of sustainability is a big word. We use the word so many times, it can mean different things to us. When it applies to coffee, some perhaps use it to strengthen the market demand, to sustain the supply, or to improve livelihood of farmers and producers, or focusing on nature conservation. And we often approach it from a different starting point, depending on what our mission and goals are, and also where we stand at the supply chain. And CATUR goal here is actually firstly to address and to apply the principle of sustainability into our core of business. So the first thing that I wanted to address is related to the economic transparency. If you have been working with us for a while, you might have familiar with our transparency donuts. So the purpose of creating this transparency donut is to give you access to our coffee pricing information. And this donut is created based on the average buying throughout the whole region in Indonesia. So I will go details with Kamala. The average selling price for Kamala here is $12.39. And to get 1 kilogram of green bean is 68% is actually the green bean price that we purchase from our processing partner. This is the average number. And the 78% from the green bean price, it came from the cherry price, because usually to get 1 kilogram of green beans, we need to process around 6 kilograms of cherry. And for CATUR production, marketing, and operation, it took around 4.62% of the whole donut. And for delivery to CATUR, while the condition, due to our big geographically landscape of Indonesia, the logistic cost is high, and it has taken up to 1.63%. The other 0.30% is dedicated to our carbon removal project. And while for others, 0.28%, we always kind of anticipate the hidden costs to anticipate the unforeseen expenses, such as increasing in fuel prices that happened recently. And 24.33% is actually goes to our CATUR gross margin, which in this margin is included for our warehousing and also the overhead expenses. So we created all transparency donut for each of tasting profile. And to be clear, the selling price, green bean price, and cherry price for each of them are different due to its process differently. So here's for Bumi. And the next one, we have Senja here for the average selling price. And Puchuk average selling price is $12.14. And if you like to see more details about our transparency donut, you can access it to our website, which is catur.coffee. So besides to give you access to our coffee information by creating this donut, we are also hoping to be able to build trust between us, Catur, and every actors that are involved in a coffee supply chain. So the second commitment is our commitment to the environment. We currently have 10 processing station partners across Indonesia. So therefore, we need to collect data and information that are necessary. And that information such as how much waste on average from our coffee production, and then method of transportation to ship our coffee. Also, the energy usage from our processing partner, and also within our company, we collect data for how many kilometers that we travel in our business trip, bin shipment to the customer, energy usage, inoculant usage, and also plastic packaging that we are using. So once we have all this information regarding all data, the next step is to measure and calculate how much greenhouse gas emission that we are producing with our company's operations. To be honest, to achieve our sustainability goals, we cannot do it by ourselves because it won't be effective nor efficient. And that is why we need to have collaboration and partnership with people that share the same value as us. So this year we chose Mitra. I didn't see them here, not yet maybe. So Mitra initially helping us to calculate our greenhouse gas emissions using the IPCC framework. So just a little bit information about this accountability to measure our greenhouse gas emission. Actually, they are one of the most rigorous and internationally recognized standard in the world and is used by renowned companies such as Bayer, Intel. So all this calculation is actually to determine how much greenhouse gas emission that we are producing based on our operation and also our partner. So the next step. All right, so this is our effort to reduce the CO2 emission from our company's activity. So we identify which type of activities and operation in order to minimize our carbon footprint. The first thing we do is that we try our best to recycle everything and send it to our recycling company. And then we shift a business card from paper to digital. Also, we are choosing smart route for travel. We're still trying our best also to choose a smart travel before we go to travel. And also we are in the process to create a packaging solution from plastic conventional to biodegradable one. So once it's finished being tested, we will gladly share it to you guys. So by doing all this effort, we can actually avoid to produce around 11 tons of CO2 equivalent in a year. So it's the same amount like we recycle about 4,000 kilograms of full of trash bag instead of waste it into the landfill. So the next one is the carbon removal project that we do with Mitra. So initially, CATUR works with Mitra to supporting them by funding forest conservation and forest restoration that is happening in West Kalimantan province. So what they do is that they work with local communities there to provide a better livelihood for the community and also to accurately measure how much carbon that can be absorbed by this forest. So as we're being transparent with you, in 2022, as Miki said before, that we have emits around 563 tons of CO2 to the atmosphere. And as our commitment in sustainability, especially to our environment, we have removed 328 tons of CO2 by this project. So this being done also to make sure that the money that is being disbursed to Mitra, which is our partner, is enough to keep supporting this carbon removal project that are able to remove carbon in the same amount that we are producing. So by this carbon removal project, we're not only giving positive impacts to the climate, but also to its biodiversity, because it's a home for a lot of variety of biodiversity in Kalimantan, and especially to the community that live in the surrounded area. So this is the certification to certify that starting September 2022, CATUR is a climate neutral company based on our operation starting post-harvest until the green bean is shipped to our customer. As you know that we will do this commitment continuously until we achieve fully carbon neutral for our company, and it will be happen in earlier next year in 2023. Next one. Thank you. All right. The last one is our commitment to our own agents. There's a lot of things we can do outside of our organization, but before that, we need to take a look of inside of our organization in CATUR. So one of them is to empower our own agents. So for example, CATUR has been given training, courses, certification. I myself has been given opportunity to learn about sustainability in coffee and teach by Specialty Coffee Association. Also, one of our team members is being certified as a Q grader. And also Mickey here, lead by example, also learned by himself for the sustainability of coffee. Also, in CATUR, we always support and empower our agents to be able to make changes via coffee competition. One of our is Loni here is competing in Milan. Also, Mickey is using his social platform to raise awareness on how to prevent stunting that is happening in East Nusa Tenggara. So with his collaboration with 1,000 Days of Fun, his campaign successfully raised more than 300 smart blankets that it's being given to pregnant mothers in East Nusa Tenggara in order to teach them on how to prevent stunting. So we still have so many goals to achieve, and to reach the finish line, it won't be easy. It needs collaboration, study, research, and partnership, but I believe that in our great passion for coffee and collective work, we can be able to actually make real changes and be the actual agent of change that we always talk about. So that's all from me, guys. Thank you. And for the next topic about post-harvest processing, I'll pass my mic to my dear colleague, Abraham Gerhard. Stage is yours, Abe.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing for this beautiful morning? My name is Abraham Gerhard Girsang. I'm acting as not acting. I am a post-harvest processing manager in CATUR Coffee Company. And here with me is Dr. Intan Taufik.
Just call me Intan. Don't add those titles.
Okay. Pak Intan is our leading scientist and also our director for Berlian Biotech that will be launched for the next year.
Next year, yeah.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank our producing partners, those who come here and those who's still doing hard work in the farm. I want to mention Central Sumatra, Gayos Best, Back Bay Estate, and then Java Halu, Sunny Coffee Bean, Karana Global, and where's Troy? And Bright Java, Tuang Coffee, and also Kofrise and Sulotko. Me personally, I want to thank you for letting me stay at your place, travel to your places, and also eat with you. And as an humble Indonesian, I would like to say thank you very much, and also I'm truly sorry if I did something wrong at your place. I'm really sorry. All right. As we travel, we learn a lot. We learn a lot as a team. Me and Damar, we travel a lot. As you've seen before, that we've traveled hundreds of days. I just realized that I've been traveling around 5 months. I thought it was only 2 or 3 months. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. But back to earlier this year, we've traveled to visit our producing partners, and we keep hearing the same stories on and on. That this harvest season, compared to last year, will yield a lower quantity. yeah, we truly believe that our planet is facing tremendous changes, shifted seasonality, and also unpredictable rainfall are not only affecting the quantity of coffee that is being produced, but also the final cup quality. Based on the increasing global temperature and also global climate changes, Stockholm Environment Institute, or SEI, analyzed that in the next few decades, the total production of Arabica could drop as high as 45.2% and 23.5% for Robusta. Of course, this is a really, really high number, and I think we as an industry would need to learn more or to dig more. What's the solution for this? Also, within our company, as we look closer to our data, we truly also are facing these challenges. As we can see that in 2021, the fulfillment rate of our producing partners, the average is 93%. And on 2022, it's 80%. We also are facing these challenges, and as you can see that it dropped to as low as 29% for some of our producers. This is caused by the lower yield of coffee being produced, but also the surging price of cherry, which makes it harder for financing every stakeholders that is involved in the coffee supply chain. We as a company, we're currently trying to find new ways or better ways to finance our operation and also support our purchase to our buyers. All right. We believe that every origin is unique. Every growing region is unique. And as we travel that, we see that the terroir is different. Some are more hilly, some are plains. And then the way the supply chain works also are unique. So, like in Toraja, a big part of it they buy in parchment, and then the other origin they would prefer to buy in cherries. Also, the culture is different. Please back. The culture different. Sometimes people are stopped picking cherries on Friday because Friday prayer. In some part of Indonesia, people are not picking cherries in Sunday because they have to go to church. We embrace these differences. And as we look closer to one origin, we can also find a lot of differences. Processing station design, and also the way coffee producers approach coffee processing are also different. And we love these differences. And we try to embrace these differences because we believe that every part of coffee value chain are the agents of change that are contributing to the value of the final cup of coffee. And that's why we believe in contextualized coffee processing. We realize and we finally know that there's no strict SOP that works everywhere. As Indonesians say that nggak bisa pukul rata, meaning that you cannot use the same approach in every origin. That's the cardinal sin of coffee processing, if you ask me. So we try to embrace origin's value and also the processor's own craftsmanship, as I believe COE also embraced that because we realized that by embracing that, we can come up with a better approach and also better method to produce the best coffee possible. Because I'm not qualified enough on talking about the details, Dr. Intan will explain about this.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Intan Taufik. So I'm based in Bandung. I don't go around as much as these people do. So this is like going to Jakarta for me is like I have to think about it first. So anyway, so like Abi just said, coffee is unique and it's very unique to every place. I mean, the people are different, the atmosphere is different, the soil is different, and even the way they taste, I mean, they prepare the drink is different. So I think this uniqueness is the thing that we must appreciate. But in other contexts, we have to, well, may I introduce myself as a scientist? So I want to know what is going on. So I need to measure that. And in measuring that, I can measure a lot of things. But we have to measure what matters. We cannot measure everything. I mean, we have limited time. We have limited resources. So these are the things that mainly we can measure. And these maybe are the important stuff that we can control to produce good coffee, the coffee that we want. So just short, like pH, aroma, the environment, and terroir. My background is microbiologist, so I know that microbes are very important in coffee, and it influences a lot of stuff, including our body. So when I see microbes and what they are doing, what I first measure is what it do to the environment, what changes. And some of them are pH and temperature. So this is what you usually do in processing. But also these microbes produce a lot of volatile compounds. And these volatile compounds are very unique based on the coffee, based on the bacteria or the yeast that are there. So we can approximate what's going on also from the aromas. I guess a lot of people here who are doing processing, sometimes they smells the coffee and this is different. This is like tape, or this is like buah jambu, and this is like septic tank. I don't know. So, but it happens, right? And the environment. So because what's going on our system. So I like to see things as a system. So this coffee processing is a system that is influenced by force, like the Star Wars, you know, the force, the force from outside. So we have to know what are the forces that are playing here, and some of them are altitude, temperature, and also humans. We do a lot of stuff, and also the terroir. We can, sorry, Abe, I can talk about this for 4 hours or 5 hours, but I think it's
Okay,
enough.
that one you have to apply to ITB to join Intan's classes, or we can make a master class. We'll do polling after this to see if it's profitable or not. Okay. Okay. True. As we know that water is essential in coffee processing, and we are also aware that we're facing a serious challenge in sustainability in our water consumption as an industry. If you look into Google, that 1 kilogram of coffee is really water intensive on the production. And this year, we, as a company, we're trying to commit more to our sustainability value by conserving more water. In our full wash coffee, or Bumi, we shifted the fermentation from wet fermentation to dry fermentation. We estimated that we can save at least 25% of water through this process. Of course, the outcome would be different. We tried it and we saw a different result. But the other challenge is actually contamination, because in dry fermentation, there's a higher risk of contamination actually. But this is where the CATUR inoculation plays its role, because we're introducing selected types of microbes. We're actually minimizing the risk of contamination. Am I right, Kang Intan?
Yes, so like if you see it like a system, if the longer the system open to the environment, a lot of more chances that the power from the outside comes in, like a contamination.
Yeah.
So this is one way of we can control what the process that's going on by providing the inoculation process.
Yeah, so because there's a compromise because there's no water shield, because actually the water is acting as a shield, but due to the total consumption of water that we're trying to reduce, we're shifting to another way to produce better coffee and more sustainable coffee.
So this is when the time that I talk about Berlian Biotech. So maybe I would like to tell a short story about how I met up with Mickey. So I get a message that this guy want to contact you to do study about microbes. His name is Mikael Jasin. I said, who is he? I don't even know him. But what I do is in the lab, in ITB, I teach students. So it's a bit different. When I come here to the stage, I usually go up with the student, like 100 students. I don't have to prepare anything, but meeting you guys, for me it's like, apa ya bahasa Indonesianya, deg-degan gitu ya. Deg-degan juga gitu ya ternyata. Because you guys, this is a different world for me, but I accept the challenge. I said, okay, because what we produce is in campus, in institution, in research institution, we only see what we are facing in the lab, but we don't know if it's applicable to the people who are working outside. So this is my embark on how to prolong, to extend my my study, my work to the outside, and I'm joining with these guys. So we are establishing a lab in Bandung, Padalarang, just about 15 minutes from my campus. We have established a lab with some instruments that we are now able to look at the microbes. If you can send us samples from all over the world, and we can see what are the microbes there, the yeast, the bacteria. We can produce that. We can experiment that. We can look what we can improve. So that's me with longer hair. So, but if you see in the campus website, my hair is still short. So maybe you don't recognize me. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So we're really interested in microbes. We know what microbes are. And we know that microbes are everywhere, even in you. If we talk about genes, sorry, it's little bit lectures, is that all right? Yeah? So if you talk about microbes, there are more microbial genes in your body than human genes. There are about 100 more cells, bacterial cells, in your body than those of humans. So you know that, is this you who running your body, or this is the microbes? If you're talking about your mood, what you eat, those microbes are the one who are digesting your food, providing you with the nutrients, even the vitamins, even serotonin, who makes you smile and happy every day. Those are the microbes. Those are the microbes that breaks down the nutrients in the soil and provide it for the coffee plants. Yeah? Without microbes, the plants won't grow. And those are the microbes who do the fermentations, not you. But but you don't pay them, right? No? They're not on your payroll, right? Of course not. So we are using these microbes as our army. And we know that these microbes can change the world, change coffee. In every process, from farm even to your cup. So we are very passionate about this. And I think this is like a journey for me, because I want to explore what is possible. I know that we can provide some improvement. I know that I can tell you more about these microbes. I can provide you with a lot of stuff, actually, that maybe not familiar to you, but yeah, it's common for us in campus or as a microbiologist. So we can talk about that later. So these microbes are very essential. As I told you, from the soil, even from the soil, and then when you pick the cherries, the microbes are already there on the skins. And then when you peel the skins, the microbes already attack it. And then those are the microbes that chew, degrade the mucilage. And even then, when you think you are drying, just removing the water, there are microbes there. A lot of microbes. And what we're talking about, I mean, these microbes, as you said, but viruses microbes, disease are microbes. Well, I have to tell you that microbes are two different, like it's an army. There are the good microbes and bad microbes. So who are you going to pick? Which sides? Of course, we want to make it, to win this battle, we have to choose the one that would help us, right? The one that's good for us. The one that would provide flavors, the one that would provide aromas, precursor aromas when you roast. So these are the microbes that we want. And these, like, when you dry the dry the coffee, like for what, 2 months? I don't know. I don't dry my coffee. For how long do you dry coffee? 1 month. So for 1 month, you exposed your coffee to everything outside, like I told you before. And there are these spores, fungal spores, that could contaminate your coffee, right? And some of this can be your problems, because these fungi would then produce mycotoxins. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but mycotoxins are those toxins produced by filamentous fungi. And these toxins, if there's a lot of them, can make you sick. It's carcinogenic. And if I think what I read is if you export it to Japan and they find this in some amount, they will not let your coffee in. So these are the things that we want to talk to you about later. So like this mold contamination, yeah, this mold contamination, like 1 month, or even even 1 week, exposing your coffee outside, because this mold is everywhere, even here in my body, here in your carpet. When you go back to your farm, you will bring it. It's already there in your farm. You cannot eradicate it. It's there. So how we solve this? We fight microbes, with beneficial microbes, with the yeast, with the bacteria. Okay. So that's a little bit story. So like, we also like to explore, and this is your story, I guess.
Yes. we love to go for an adventure. That's that's the whole point of this slide. Back on June, I was traveling to the sacred highland of Toraja and to visit our producing partner, Slotco. There, I just found out that they have this Shifet farm where they produce luwak coffee. And then I happened to have a sampling tube with me. And we go for it. We just go for it, and then took samples of the feces and then sent it back to the lab and let our scientists to tinker with the feces, of course, and see what microbes are in it.
Yeah, it's not smelly. It's already dried. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. It's dry feces.
So yeah, we take it out. We dilute it in water. And we let it grow on specific media to see what the bacteria are and what other yeasts are. So we found these 2 bacteria and these 2 yeasts that are from this poopsie of the civet. I think, I don't know if this civet is from where?
Toraja.
So I don't know, maybe if from Garut or from Bandung, the civet would, because they eat differently, they would also produce different bacteria and yeast, I think.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that the Shifet is drinking Yakult, drinking Pocari Sweat, like have better diet than me, basically. Seriously. Slotco is really taking care of their luwak there. They have better life standards than me. So what we did is, after we isolated these 4 microbes, we tried to make full wash coffee. And we found out that a certain combination of these strains of microbes produce a really beautiful sparkling, even well-balanced coffee. And yeah, we were surprised basically. From poop, you can make a beautiful coffee. And we're up for an adventure like this, like wild ideas like this. And we, Berlian Biotech, will be launched next year. And through our work, we want to be your adventure buddy for crazy ideas like this. Thank you.
So come to us. Let's discuss about the future, what is possible, and embark on new adventure.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Almost there, guys. We'll be drinking coffee soon. So, this is the collection. So, we've talked about the challenges that we face, the cherries, the rainfalls, some of the sciencey steps that we've taken. So we realized that we couldn't launch the product like how we've done in the past few years, in a way that we cannot launch it in just one launch event anymore, because the shipment of the coffee beans, the shipment of cherries and everything comes in different times. So this would be the first launch, and then we will have a subsequent launches throughout the year in different areas, from different areas of Indonesia. So this year we have, from our 10 partners, we're launching, I think, 3 today. And the numbers vary. So in Bali, we went from 27 tons last year to 62 tons this year. So our biggest contribution this year comes from Bali. They really hate us right now. And then in Flores, because of the challenges, especially in procuring the cherries, we've gone from 16 tons to 5.8 tons. In Central Java, from 6.9 tons to 3 tons. And in Aceh, in Gayo, we had 1.2 tons. In Benar Meriah, from Central Sumatra Coffee, we have 1.2 tons. From Java Halu, our new partner, we have 1.1 ton. And from Sani in Loa, we have 1.1 as well. From our new partner, Toraja Sulotko, we have 2 tons. And from Kofrise, we have 900 kilograms, our smallest contribution. As you can probably see, a lot of our coffee is the Kamala taste profile. In Bali, more than half of that is Kamala. For example, in Sani, almost all of our production is also Kamala. Java Halu, we don't have any Kamala, but we have Pucuk and Senja. In Merbabu, we only have Kamala. We didn't produce any other taste profiles. In Banjarnegara, we have Pucuk and Senja, and then in Sindoro, we only produce the Pucuk taste profile. Kofrise is similar, only Kamala. In Sulotko, we have equal split between Kamala and Bumi. This is where Abe did most of the dry fermentation trials. And then in Tuang, we have Kamala and Senja. Cool. So, coffees are outside. If you want to know more about what's available in terms of volume and how to purchase them, you can scan this barcode. You can taste the coffee outside. Again, as I said, this is only the first drop. We will have subsequent drops from, say, Flores Manggarai and also from different areas in Sumatra. But what you can find outside is quite representative of what we will have. Thank you so much. You can grab coffee. There's a reusable cups that you can take home with you. There's some snacks. You can go outside, take some coffee, and then if you want to come back in for the panel discussion, you can come in and do that. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the coffee, and don't forget to be agents of change in your own life.